Welcome back. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Oh, yeah.
Lot to get into on this episode still. Very good conversation here. A lot of people already sending in their answers immediately.
Yeah, see.
Just losing their mind. Here we go. Khalil Mack. If you could pick one to return in their prime, Derrick Rose, Khalil Mack, Kris Bryant, Candace Parker. Candace Parker couldn't help this team.
Sorry, we can get that out the way now.
Candace Parker couldn't help this team.
That would be just
Jonathan Toews. Yeah. Jonathan Toews couldn't help this team. You know what? Jonathan Toews probably could help this team because that would turn our first overall pick back into a winger. Yeah, Connor Bedard. I don't know why I was thinking.
Yeah,
Connor.
I
wasn't even thinking like a different Connor, and I was thinking Connor McKnight from ESPN.
Yeah, there's a lot of Connors actually.
And Paul Konerko. Paul Konerko could help this team.
Come on now, stop it. Hey, I know you love your side.
These young boys playing. These young boys playing. These young boys playing, my G. Just saying.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
You feeling good? Living over in Cubland. Cubs.
Glad that baby.
Bring him back. Yeah. I'll leave him right where he's at, right in Colorado. The fall off of Kris Bryant is a Tim Anderson level, and nobody talks about it.
Yeah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. I don't know.
Like Kris Bryant's fall off is literally Tim Anderson, and nobody talks about it. And it's probably worse because he was an MVP.
He was an MVP. Yeah. It's horrible.
He's hitting 154 this season.
It's horrible. Rizzo's a little older now, so I wouldn't really say Rizzo.
Rizzo's still good.
Baez has come back to life being a center fielder for Detroit. They're the best.
Yeah, a little bit. The bat is still, man.
A little iffy, but defense is still there. But yeah, no. Bryant, anyway, whatever.
Who you leaning towards right here in this little mock up here? I'm gonna be honest with you. There's some of these that just don't make an impact for me.
Well, that's what I want to go through. Of course, I agree with you, Joe. We were cheated from Rose, but if we're talking about putting them on the roster as currently constructed, we're not talking about nostalgia and good feelings and good vibes. Because if that was the case, that yes, it would be Derrick Rose all day, hometown kid, like that, number one in our hearts. Like, come on, we were his prime was snatched from us. Like, we would love to see him play, in his prime years, but. With the question as it is, being on the roster, really, I think there's only two names that you can think of that should be at the front of this. It's Kris Bryant and it's Khalil Mack. And for me, I'm going Khalil Mack. We keep talking about the only position that we possibly need that needs to be filled here. If the roster is completely healthy going into the season, we're not worried about injuries. We're not talking about Jaquan Brisker and potentially getting another concussion. We're not talking about people's ages. We're talking about as currently constructed, everybody's healthy. If Khalil Mack is opposite Montez Sweat in his prime, and when I say prime, I'm talking about Raiders prime, before he even got to Chicago, when he had the 15-sack season in his second year, young Khalil Mack, you put him on this team, that would do wonders. Because what was the year that was it 2016 that we got the double doink? That was the double doink year. 2018. So you think about how the defense was elite in 2018 with Akeem and Eddie and all those boys, Robert Quinn as well. Like, imagine having an elite defense of that level, in my opinion, along with a potentially elite offense. Because that was always the issue with that team, is that the offense couldn't keep up with the defense. Defense had to play phenomenal. They had to even score many times on defense in order to win games. You don't have to have that on this team. You could just have Khalil Mack and Montez Sweat eating, and then all those interior guys we talked about, the Bears picking up with Jarrett, Javon Dexter, Dangbo, like Austin Book, like, man, the list goes on and on. That would be a special team. That would be exciting to watch week in and week out. So number one for me would obviously be the Bears. Then of course I got the Cubs a close second, because if you swap out Matt Shaw, who's been playing really good as a third baseman for a rookie, as far as defense, his bat is kind of not coming along that quickly, but maybe. Kris Bryant in his MVP year when he had 39 home runs, 102 RBIs, 292 batting average, I think. You put that along with Kyle Tucker and PCA, the way they're playing, along with the decent pitching and decent bullpen, they may go far. So those are the two. Those are the two for me.
Here's what I'll say. All of those, you're not wrong in your reasoning. All of those sports is still extremely, extremely. Everybody has to do their job the right way for it to work.
Team oriented, yeah. You're
now,
right.
Baseball, I mean, kind of. The pitcher got to be good. Like Kris Bryant, you probably could get away with that. And having Kris Bryant on the Cubs is probably the one that I would say would have more of an impact. I think the Khalil Mack one is a great one. Having him and Montez with the monsters you got in the middle here. But I think the NBA is a different beast in itself. Having a star does so much for you. And Derrick Rose was a superstar.
Mm.
Having a superstar player does so much for you in the NBA. And you actually have a team right now that would fit perfectly with Derrick Rose's attitude. Now, Josh Giddey, of course, is coming off of the bench in this situation. He's not making the starting lineup probably. But now you're moving Josh Giddey to the bench. You've got a lineup that has Kobe White. You're probably throwing Modest Buzelis out there as well. You've still got I'm guessing Vooch is probably still the big on this team there, and you're figuring out either Ayo Dosunmu or somebody in that lineup as well, or maybe you throw Kevin Huerter out there as well. You've got all of these shooters around a guy who was absolutely dominant in the paint, who people literally were catching the flu to avoid. I don't think that fear is from anyone else on this list. And I think that in the NBA, having a star like that with good pieces around him makes so much more of an impact than just having, not to say that having Mack wouldn't be very impactful for the Chicago Bears, but you still got to go out there and make plays. Montez Sweat still has to show up every single week, right? You got to have that pressure from the inside. There's so much more that has to happen outside of just Khalil Mack. The impact that Derrick Rose in his prime makes walking back on the court, to me, is just absolutely game-changing for the Chicago Bulls team, because you know who everybody is going to be focused on all night, and that makes the job easier for all these other guys. It makes Kobe's job easier. It makes Modest's job easier. It makes Giddey. I mean, you got Giddey coming off of the bench now, and he's just facilitating off the bench for you.
That's nice.
Like, give me the answer all day versus giving me a piece of the puzzle. Derrick Rose is the answer. He's not a piece.
Ooh, that's a very compelling argument. I will give that to you. He is the answer. He is not the piece. But here's what I keep going back to. Even though you have a superstar player, because essentially Khalil Mack was that by NFL standards in 100%. His prime. He was a star at his position. And there were times where you had to game plan. OCs were game planning for him to double team him, even triple team him, keep him running back in the backfield just to kind of knock him off his route to the quarterback. He game changed. You remember the very first game, or rather versus Green Bay in the first half, when he did a little bit of everything.
Yeah, but that was the best game we ever saw of Khalil.
But no, I'm just using that. You're right. You're right.
His first game. Listen, I love Khalil Mack. I think he was an impact player. I think he was banged up. I think he was double teamed. You didn't have anybody on the opposite side. When you got Robert Quinn was absolutely cheeks. Then the next year he want to break the record after we get rid of Mack.
Yeah, exactly.
Khalil Mack best game in a Bears jersey was the first game he ever played here.
You're absolutely right. But here's what I keep going back to is that despite you saying that, yes, Derrick Rose is a superstar, no doubt. That man is generational. You talk about that name, that label getting thrown around. he is generational. However, it is. I still go back to it being a team sport, and the people around those players to me matter. So if we're talking about putting him on the team as currently constructed, yes, of course you have more shooters. Of course you have a Kevin Herter. Matas Bazilis is coming into his own, a decent, reliable shooter. The more and more the season went along, of course we know what Kobe White does. Ayo Dosunmu is a reliable shooter at times in the spot up position. Giddy coming off the bench would be nice, if he wants to be in that role. That would be obviously an awesome backup point guard. But there's still issues with this team. And of course, they don't have great playoff experience. They haven't gone far. And you think about the competition they would still have to go up against in this league. Derrick Rose played in a time where you had better defense, and it wasn't catered to the amount of shooting that the NBA is kind of catered to now. And so I think that even though the Bulls would be exciting to watch, Derrick Rose would clearly be exciting to watch. They're not going to go anywhere more than the two teams I mentioned with Khalil and the Bears and Kris Bryant and the Cubs. You have to still look at the other parts of the roster, which I think are better than the parts on the Bulls.
I know we remember this team fondly, but I think we really remember this team fondly because of how good Derrick Rose is.
What you got?
He took this team to an ECF. D Rose, Joakim, those are the dogs, right?
Okay, yeah.
Carlos Boozer, Luol Deng, Taj Gibson, Omer Sheik, Keith Bogans, Ronnie Brewer, Rasul Butler, James Johnson,
bench mob. What you talking about, man?
John Lucas III.
That's right.
Brian Scalabrine, Kurt Thomas.
Hey, don't you talk about the GOAT. Don't you talk about Scalabrine like you don't remember.
Keith Bogans was our starting two guard.
You dang right, Keith Bogans. Like, talk about Keith Bogans.
Like, I know we remember it fondly, bro, but like, come on, dog. He could take this. He can take this current roster a long way. What are we talking about?
I don't know. To me, it compares to the baby Bulls. I'm just thinking about the lack of experience and maturity in game time decisions.
Well, he wasn't on the baby Bulls.
No, he was. It was him, Kirk. I'm not talking about Eddie and Tyson. I'm talking about the
baby Bulls.
I guess okay. I'm talking about the second version of it when you had Ben Gordon, him, Kirk, Tyrese Thomas, and a couple other players I can't remember, but like that version that went against the I believe it was the Celtics. That was the team that
they went against Celtics the first year.
Yeah, John Salmons, like you had that version of the team, and so that's the potential I think that you have here. Yes, they're not gonna they possibly could actually get to the playoffs and not have to play in the play-in. They could be a 6th or 5th seed in the East and go up against a Boston again or a New York, but I think it ends there. It's like it's going to be some exciting one-on like personal stats and performances from Derrick Rose, but at the end of the day, teams are going to still wipe him off the earth.
Adding Derrick Rose to this team, they're not better than the Pistons.
Yes.
They're not better than the Bucks.
That might be the baseline. That's a yes or no. That's 50-50.
It's Giannis versus Derrick.
I mean,
and Dame Lillard, we saw that. Dame ain't stopping Derrick.
Ain't nobody stopping Dame though.
Give me my shot. Give me my chances with Derrick on Dame versus Dame stopping.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, and maybe a little bit of Ayo. I don't know. That's a 50-50 shot to me. I feel like Tyrese
Halliburton ain't gonna be able to get the Pacers to the finals. He gonna be too worried about why Derrick Rose keep running around.
That is true. I do agree with that, but I don't know, man.
Like,
I don't know.
I think you had Derrick Rose in this, and that's my thing. Like, I think the sports are just different, right? We had Khalil Mack, we had Akeem Hicks, we had this star-studded defensive line, and we still didn't go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like it's we didn't see it happen. Like we had a really good defensive line. We had a great defensive line. We ain't go nowhere.
Quarterback. We didn't have a quarterback like Caleb. Heck, we didn't even have a quarterback like Justin back then.
Listen, I would love it. But I'm just saying, for me, it's like, not to say that it wouldn't help with this current roster. I do think it would. But basketball is such a different sport. Having one piece can change your whole team, and one efficient piece. It's not like Derrick was just checking up shots.
I do agree with that. You
LeBron James dragged the team to the NBA Finals that Cleveland, we can't name 90% of the team.
All I know is Boobie Gibson. And Judas Ilgauskas.
And the only reason you know him was Booby. It's the only reason you know that man's name.
You don't know that. Jeez. No, yeah. Look, stop trying to convince me, all right? I'm standing on it. I'm standing on Khalil Mack, 1A, Kris Bryant, 1B.
Just saying.
Derrick Rose, 1C.
I think I've made and it's not even that you're wrong. Like I will say, I'll say this. I think Kris Bryant added to the current Cubs does more than Khalil Mack does added to the current Bears. Because now you have a lineup you can't pitch around. Who you pitching around? And we talk about Kris Bryant in his prime. I mean, your 2, 3, and 4 becomes PCA, KB, and
Ian Happ starting off. Then you got Saya behind him.
You got Ian Happ. Like you can't pitch around 90% of the lineup.
Yeah, Michael Bush. Yeah.
Like now you talking about being the Dodgers.
That is true. Yeah, you got some talent there.
So like to me, and I think it's literally just the difference in the sport. It's not like, listen, Trey Hendrickson is amazing. That don't mean that he got 35 sacks in 2 years. It doesn't matter because the rest of the defense ain't there. Like one player in football doesn't mean it's not the end all be all. And even sometimes adding a great player to a team doesn't change that team's outcome because something else happens or somebody else is missed or whatever it is, right? Somebody else not picking up the slack on that player, that game. Like, so give me the sure answers. I would say KB and Derrick Rose are the sure answers, and give me Derrick Rose over KB all day because the KB fall off is insane.
KB falls insane, but that is not the question. Don't try to throw your little club slander in there. But I do agree with you. The KB might be in the running for first for me. It's a tie between him and Mack. Again, I if we're just talking about nostalgia and feel good, I'm all in on the Derrick Rose train and wanting to see him play in his prime into his late 20s. Like that would have been amazing to see. And if we could find a way to get a time machine and run that back to see what that's like with the current roster, I would still be on board with that. I'm not sitting here saying that I wouldn't want that. I just think that even if we're talking about Trey Hendrickson, you put him on this team. That's why we keep trying to figure out, well, what's going on with the holdout? Obviously we want to know, hey, do the Bears have some sort of way to, kind of get in and disrupt that? Because we know if you put Trey Hendrickson on this line, along with the talent already on the line alongside Montez Sweat, that would make it just special. That would make it elite. So that's all I'm saying. I digress.
Yeah, listen, I like the conversation. I think it's a good debate. I think it's fun to have. Let us know how you guys feel in the comments below.
Now, wait a minute. One thing I will say is we know it ain't Candace Parker. I just want to comment on the Sky and how horrible they are. I didn't expect them to be this bad. Now they got slewed out for the rest of the season.
Bro.
The fall off of the Sky, and there would be a clog in the paint, obviously, with her, Camila, and Angel. So that's why that wouldn't even work. I wouldn't even waste time doing that.
Bro, the Sky struggled to score over 70 points, bro.
Yeah.
Sky is trash, bro.
Kennedy Carter was more important than I thought. Way more.
I don't even know if it's first off, no, your coach has no idea what basketball looks like.
They were saying that he was a savant and development genius, and that's what you got rid of from Teresa from Teaspoon.
He
still pisses me off to this day.
He a savant at Carter 6. That's what he is. That's what he is, savant at. A 6-pack of Carter 6. He is savant at pure and utter dominance.
Oh, there's Carter 6 right there. Go get the album.
Oh, boy. R.I.P. my favorite rapper.
Boy, first two, I was into it.
Oh my God, bro! How he come back on "Welcome to the Carter" like that, and then just said, "I give up."
Yep, that's it. That's all you get from me.
Now, you want to know what is funny though? You want to know what is hilarious about it is Muzz just keep remixing or making different beats for "Peanuts to an Elephant," which is by far the worst beat on the album, or that you've ever heard in your life. And literally, it's like, oh, the flow is a banger. Why did he rap on this beat? Like, why did he choose this beat? Why? Wayne, why?
First and last song, the only good. Where he was like, "Hey, I ain't got nothing for y'all,
bro." He surely didn't.
enjoy my legacy."
He need an A&R. He need an A&R bad, bro. Like somebody to freaking. You got to break this down. Like somebody got to be sitting in that room and go, "Hey, we don't want to do this. Actually, this is not the move here." Like maybe you shouldn't put Rebirth songs on here. Maybe
Exactly.
like what's with the random rock? Maybe you shouldn't throw MGK on a track.
Bro, he had a rock album, didn't he?
Yes.
If you're gonna commit, just commit to a whole rock. Don't go back and forth and have these weird sounds. I don't know, man. That's what I was looking at. What, is it Kris or is it Wayne?
Nah, it's Kris because Wayne's was gradual. Like even Carter 5 had like 6 or 7 good songs.
Had better songs on it.
Carter 5 had good songs on it. It had some misses too, but they had good songs on it. Kris Bryant was like, "Hey, I'm an MVP. I suck." That's it. Like that was it was quick. Like
I gave you my best. That's it. That's what you'll remember me for. Yeah.
Oh man. But hey man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. 6-pack of Carter 6 out here. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Oh, before we get out of here, Jordan JC, we are over 200 and that's over 300 and that's
all right.
300.
Yes, sir.
But nah, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button if you have not done so. Appreciate y'all for rocking with the show. We got something special coming for y'all tomorrow morning, man. So tap in with us as always. As Crimson always says, 88 days until the Bears football returns.
Oh yeah,
very excited, very excited. Y'all stay safe out of Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.
Ooh, 88. You know how they always do like a person on the Bears with the jersey number for the days countdown? I feel like it was a tight end that won 88. Was that Desmond Clark?
I
want to say Desmond Clark. It's Desmond Clark days till Bears football.
I was gonna say Steven Carlson. Ain't he on the team right now?
Yeah.
Coach Cobbs wore 88.
Oh, okay.
Then he got my shoulder back in place.
Crazy story. Yeah, Desmond Clark. I know it wasn't tripping.
Desmond Clark got an 88 in there.
Yeah, Desmond Clark. Oh, Greg Olsen? No, Greg Olsen didn't.
Olsen wasn't 88. Greg Olsen was 76. What was Greg Olsen? It don't matter.
Let me see here.
Who cares?
Oh, you're right. Steven Carlson. All right.
JP Holtz. Yep, we're going to end the show on that.
And that's a wrap.